Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Coffee Can't Fix Everything. This is a show where we talk about mental health over a cup of coffee. And today I have my very confident, not nervous,
Not nervous at all.
great friend with me today, Leah. Leah, thank you so much for being here on
Thanks for
Coffee
having me.
Can't Fix Everything. Yes, so for me, where I really wanted to talk to you, but first of all, how are you? How are you doing? How's everything going?
Good, good. It's been a busy week, but got my cup of
We
coffee,
got
so I'm
coffee and
good.
we're ready to go. Hey, so when we had a great conversation not too long ago, literally like what a week ago, when I wanted to have you on. It just really, I know you're in the DEI space. You do great work there, but I also know that when we're talking about corporate America or just work in general, it's hard. It's just getting through life be lifing. That's my I need to make a shirt. 'Cause I've said that so many times. Life be lifing, right? And I would love to get your thoughts just as someone not in the space. That's why I love interviewing people who are not therapists because it takes it takes a lot for us to really be mindful every day, to get through every day. So I would love to hear like how do you kind of get through your day? Like what has your mental health journey been like?
Yeah, so that's a good question because it has been very much a roller coaster. Um, there's been moments in my life where I have felt great and have felt like I've not needed any help. And then other times where that has absolutely not been the case at all and definitely needed some help.
Right.
Um, and so when I first got started, kind of on my mental health journey, I was going through just a tough time in my personal life. Um, but that bleeds over into work all the
Yeah.
time. You can't leave part of yourself outside the workplace. I mean, as much as people might try, it doesn't really work that way. So I was going through a tough time in my personal life that was really impacting um, my attention at work, my focus, my ability to perform. And I am very thankful that I had a leader at that time who really cared about me as a person and as a human being more than just someone who was there to
Just
produce
to clock in,
output,
do what you.
output.
Yep.
Yep. And so, when I would say, performance started slipping and not being normal, it wasn't a let's write you up because you're not doing what you should be doing. It's what's happening in your life, what's going on, and how can we get you help and resources to get you back on track to what I know you can be. And so I'm very thankful that that leader reminded me at the time that we had an employee resource through the organization that I was with that offered free mental health services. And so, she very nicely but firmly gave me that nudge of you need to take advantage of this benefit that we offer.
Very nicely but firmly.
Yes, and and it's like and it was so I'm sure I can't, this was a long time ago, so I can't remember exactly how I was responded or felt in the moment. And I'm sure I was probably like a little bit annoyed, thinking like, what do you mean I need therapy? I don't need therapy, but
Right.
now older, wiser, having gone through it,
Right.
hindsight's 2020. That was something that shows how much that person cared about me as a
Yeah.
person, that they recognized I needed help. They made sure the resources were available. Because it's so easy. If you have a leader that doesn't care about you, it could just be, oh, you're not performing, you're out of here.
Exactly. And one, I have so much respect for leaders that are mindful of the people that are under them, and they're really in. And their intent is to make sure that you're not only doing what you have to do, but like, how are you feeling? Like, what's going
Mm-hmm.
on? And you hear nightmares. Your story is like the total opposite of what you normally hear
Mm-hmm.
from some people, because the their manager or their boss never took the time to sit down and say, okay, hey, what's going on? All they see are your numbers or your output,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't take that time. In the moment, I know it's kind of like like who are you talking to kind of a feeling. But you said in hindsight, but as you were starting to like really kind of understand like yo maybe I am going through some stuff, what was that process like of like okay maybe she is right.
Yeah, so that was also a bit of a roller coaster. So I didn't have much to compare, you know, what is therapy like? What is
Mm-hmm.
going to a therapist feel like? Aside from what you see in TV, you know, where you have
Right.
the couch and you lay back and how does that make you feel? And you
Right.
know, you have some Freudian looking person like standing over you with their
Taking
notepad.
notes, judging you,
Yes.
crazy.
And
Yeah.
so I'm like, I don't want to do that. That doesn't sound right for me. But I will say, you know, in the now many years of therapy I've gone through, that's generally not how it is.
Right.
There are definitely some out there like that. Um, but I think what was most interesting, and I'm very lucky that I kind of figured this out early on, that you don't have to stick with the first person that you see
Yeah.
if that person doesn't work for you. And that was kind of, I think, you know, the first person that I saw recognize that, you know, we weren't building a great rapport. I wasn't opening up. Um, and so he actually referred me to, he's like, you know, here's a website. Go out to this website, look at all the providers that are available to you through this resource that you have. Um, and see if there's someone out there who you might want to connect with better.
Right.
And so, and that could be, you know, different providers have different specialties that they can work on. If you wanting to talk about, you know, your parents, your family, relationships, you know, PTSD, trauma, like all of
Mm-hmm.
these people have different specialties. So that was
Right.
definitely one piece to look for is, you know, who's matching up and can kind of help me through the issue that I'm having right now today. Um, there's reviews out there, but then also once I found someone that I'm like, okay, this person's interesting, I'm gonna make an appointment with this person. Every therapist has a different style,
Right.
and their office, which is so funny, but their office to me was something that was really important.
Their
Was
office was important to you. Okay, tell me about it.
yeah. So when I would go in, I wanted the vibe, the feel of the room either made me tense or helped me relax. And so the therapist that I ended up seeing for many, many years, she had a personal style that of how she decorated her office that matched my personal style at home.
Mm.
So when I went into that office and it was a comfortable sofa, bright colors, you know, plants, greenery, artwork, just kind of a cool vibe. I felt
Right.
like I was in a more comfortable environment. I'm, you know, here, not at home. I knew I wasn't at home, but kind of had that more homey vibe to me
Right.
that I could be having a conversation with a friend. Now, granted, not everybody's gonna, that probably won't work for everyone.
Right.
Some people might want a totally different vibe. And now I have a good friend that is a therapist as well. And just seeing her office, you know, every therapist has a totally different decor
Mm-hmm.
style and what works for them to be a good provider, but then also what works for you as the person seeking support.
Yes, I'm going through this right now. So I want I want to I'm looking for a therapist myself.
Okay.
And I don't know if this is me sabotaging myself, but I'm just looking at these faces, and if they look like an evil villain, I won't reach out to them. And that and I'm like, oh, I don't like how you look, and that's probably not the best thing to go off of, but I think it's so important to like find who fits you
Mm-hmm.
that it shouldn't be just like a okay, I'm gonna call this number,
Yep.
schedule the appointment, and like, okay, just rock with this person.
Yeah.
But like, it's kind of nerve wracking to go through that whole process and then find out, oh, I don't, I know it's important, but to go through it all and to be like, oh, I don't know if I rock with you.
Yeah, it can be super cumbersome and expensive, you know, quite frankly, to set
Yeah.
up multiple appointments and figure out this person is right for me, this person's not right for me. Um, And I don't know that I have a good solution around that other than,
There isn't. You just got to do
yeah,
the work.
you got to do the work. Referrals, recommendations, I think were super helpful. So, I did put in some time with this, first therapist that didn't end up being my jam, but
Right.
enough that he was able to say, okay, you might rock better with this person over here,
Yeah.
or this is kind of what you can look for. And they were able to give me um, a little bit extra guidance on what I could look for. I will say it's also just, I find it fascinating. My therapist referred me to my medical general practitioner that I now see because so one of the things that we had talked about was just some health issues that I was having and how that was affecting, physical health was affecting my mental health. And I, at the time, could not for the life of me understand what my doctor was telling me. Lots of jargon I didn't understand.
Oh, yeah.
So, through her network, she knew this doctor might be great for you, and how their bedside manner fits a little bit more like what you might need.
Yeah.
So it's all these referral games. I talk with friends that have also seen different people. What do you like about yours? What do you not like? What was good
Yeah.
about your experience? What should I look for? And it kind of makes the process a little bit easier.
Right. That's dope. Can we go back to like the work stuff for a little bit?
Yeah.
Because I'm really interested in now. Once you had your own experience with your boss saying, "Hey, this needs to be happening." Now that you're a leader in your own sense, in your own right, are there? Have you taken some of that stuff? Are you looking? How are you working with the people that are under you? Are you looking for some of the similar things, or how are you approaching their mental health?
Yeah, so, and that's an interesting question because I don't lead people directly. So all of my leadership has been in a indirect capacity, working with other leaders to help them be the best leader that they can
Right.
be. And so these are things that we talk about is, particularly when you notice a change in someone's output or a change in someone's productivity or the quality of their work, is let's not be so quick to assume they've given up, that they've checked out. Um, Now, granted, it's a little bit harder if someone just comes in and you don't know them in any other way. But still, we think about when we interviewed this person, when we brought this person on, we saw something in them. How do we draw that
Absolutely.
out? Um, and so I think it's, just trying to help people understand that if you put in a little bit of effort here to help this person achieve or perform in the way that you know that they can, that they've showed you that they can, that's more efficient, it's more effective, it's cheaper to the organization than letting that person go and going through the recruitment, the hiring, the retraining. So it might feel like a little bit of pain to put that effort into another human being, but not only is it just kind
Right.
of the right and good moral thing to do, it makes the most business sense when you're looking at profits and dollars and time.
Right. Let's not forget why we hire them in the first place and get that back. Do you feel like your journey to improving your mental health has it allowed you to maybe separate your personal and professional life easier, or do you feel like there's still that they still kind of mesh together?
I think it has made them flow together more seamlessly. I don't try to separate them. Um, I don't try to leave my personal life at the door when I walk in because my personal life is what shaped who I am, what my values are, what I believe in, and that's why you hired me.
Mm,
But it's also, I have worked to become more open about, hey, this is what I have going on. This is what I can give you right now. I can't give you all of me, and I shouldn't. No one should be, giving their whole selves at work to the point where they have nothing left at home.
right.
And so I think it's made me more comfortable having those conversations in the workplace which have then helped other people feel more comfortable having those conversations in the workplace. Um, I was with a group of folks, and someone told me, um, like, how do you stay so calm in this situation? And I was like, no one's ever said that to me in my life. Therapy must be working. Um, and so I said to that person, I said, I'm going to tell my therapist that you said that to me, because that's a milestone that, we're going to celebrate.
Yeah.
And it was so funny because I still stay connected to this person many years later, and that was a light bulb moment for that individual as well, that, oh, it's okay to talk about these things. It's
Yeah.
okay to talk about, no one bats an eye if they say, hey, I've got to take off on Friday because I have a medical doctor's appointment. So why can't we take time off to take care of our
Yo,
brains?
that's real. This is a true story. This was just last week where it was the busiest week of my life. And I called in on the day, right? Just a random day. I texted my boss and I said, I will not be in today. I'm not feeling well. Because I needed a mental health day. I didn't say that in the text message. I just said, I'm just not feeling well.
Yep.
Get to work the next day. Everybody, where were you at yesterday, right? And before, I just would have been like, oh, I was just sick. I would have lied and be like, I had a fever. But I was like, I wasn't feeling it.
Yeah.
I needed a mental break. And you know what? Everybody was like, I feel that. Like, nobody was like, it wasn't weird. People were like, yo, that's real. Like, I get that. You know what I mean? And that was such a relief to be like, yeah, I can talk about this. And also, you said something too that I think needs to be highlighted is celebrating those milestones. And like, we're all dealing with childhood trauma out here. For the most part, I don't want to put childhood trauma on somebody who had a great childhood. God bless you. But when there are times when like someone sees something like, yo, you did, and I know before I would have handled that differently. You got to celebrate that.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's in the moment, it's not always easy to see. If that person had not
Yes.
called out to me, like, you're being very calm right now in this
Yeah.
stressful situation, I wouldn't have thought anything of it. And so now looking back at times, I can see different points in my life where I've handled stressors in different ways, where I've handled anxiety in different ways.
Right.
and and it's hard because it takes a long time
Takes a
to
long
make those
time.
changes and to be able to recognize, like, oh, this is a trigger for me, this is something that I need to stop, pause, implement whatever activity it is, intervention that you're working on,
Right.
to the point where it just becomes more of a habit and you don't recognize that you're doing it anymore.
Yeah.
So
What got you to be more consistent with that? Like, what got you to understand your triggers and knowing what your triggers are, and then like what kind of practices did you put into play to get to the point to where somebody noticing you being calmer?
So for me, it was we tried a lot of different things, and so, I love the therapist that I had been seeing for so long, because she gave me. We would try for a couple months, couple weeks, different tactics and see what worked. So there's, whether it's kind of the traditional breathing, counting
Right.
exercises. That really wasn't my jam so much. I tried sitting in my car every day before going into work and meditating, and I was just like, this is not for
This
me.
is
I am not a meditator. It's not for me.
right.
So we tried some other, like, physical interventions, like, would yoga help, or different things. Definitely not a yogi. I am impressed by all the yogis out there. It's not me.
Yeah. God bless you.
So kind of what we ultimately found, that it was just, a trial and error process of what works for me. For me, it was, I love office supplies and pens and markers and colors. And so we tapped into that, and it became journaling, was what worked for me. So I got to do something that brought me a little bit of joy. I got to play with my colors and, my pens and all these things that I had. It felt like I was doing arts and crafts a little bit,
Right.
but it also became my outlet. Um, that just spending a little bit of time, a couple sentences, a highlight of the day, low light of the day, or even what it didn't have to be a full dear diary journal entry,
Right.
but it was kind of just what happened today and how did that make me feel, or if I was getting frustrated in a moment, now I carry my sitting right over there. I carry my journal with me all the
Oh,
time.
nice.
So it's this is this is bothering me right now. This is how I'm feeling right now. I'm gonna write it down real quick, and so that kind of clicked into place for me pretty quickly, where I was able to go back and see, okay, these are the things that really set me on edge, or that really, so that's what worked for me. But it took quite a bit of trial and error and trying different tactics and techniques to find that.
Right. So you put it out on paper, then
Mm-hmm.
look at it and kind of soak it in and kind of break it
Yeah.
down. And then you can change that behavior. So when it
Yeah.
happens again, you can
Yep.
do differently.
Yeah, you can start to see that there becomes trends and patterns on, you know, this is the type of situation that brings me stress and anxiety. And so then it becomes, well, what can I do? What's in my control? You can't always control everything.
That's true.
What's in my control that I can avoid getting myself into that situation? And if I can't avoid it, what do I need to do to take care of myself after that situation, after I'm done with it?
Right.
So like you said, it's super busy at work. Maybe it is, okay, I put in this wild week at work, I need a day off.
Right.
I need some time to recharge.
You need some
Or
time to recharge.
I need some retail therapy or
Joe, real.
whatever it is.
Yes.
Retail therapy also works for me. So.
Yeah, it feels good. Feels
It
good.
does feel good.
If you were to be talking to somebody or somebody watching or listening, and they're kind of on that edge of getting a looking to get a therapist, or they're in the process of going on their own mental wellness journey, what would you say to them? What is some advice or some recommendations you would give to them?
I mean, simply, I guess I would say just go for it. Just try it. There's a lot of different ways to look at self-care and to go through therapy. If the one-on-one isn't your jam, there's groups. But regardless of how anyone feels, I think we all benefit
Right.
from a good therapist. We kind of have this expectation that at least annually we should go get a physical. That's generally accepted
Right.
practice, that you go see a medical doctor to have your physical health checked out, make sure everything's running as it should, and be on the lookout for any risks that might pop up in the future for you so you can get ahead of those. Why not do that for our mental well-being as well?
Absolutely.
So, I think even if you go and you realize, I don't need to come back once a week, I don't need to come once a month,
Right.
just having that check-in, I think is really important.
Yeah. Awesome. So, last question, on a scale of 1 to 10, like, how bad was this? See, it wasn't that bad.
No, it definitely was not that bad. I'm not good at the 1 to 10 scale. I will say that I never forgot that camera was there.
I know. I kept seeing you look at it like, oh, that light's still on.
Never forgot that camera
It is
was
still
there.
recorded.
No.
Awesome. Leah, thank you so much for being
having me.
here. Everybody, thank you for listening and watching Coffee Can't Fix Everything. I am not a therapist. As you just listened, Leah's not a therapist. But I want you to get help. If you do need help, the resources, there will be resources in the link of the episode. Please get those because I want you here. And again, coffee can't fix everything, but we will have the conversation one coffee at a time. I'll holler at you next time.